Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Friday Namaste experience. I'm trying to look and see what the daily word is in the back. Jet, can you tell me what that says?
I have faith, my God is on its way.
I have faith, my God is on its way?
Yep.
Is on its way. My experience of the God within is not only on its way, but it is here right now, fully present, fully revealed, activated, awake. How does that feel to know that God is awake inside me, within me, and all around me, everywhere? There's no such thing as not that. Everything is that. Oh, let's see if we can. Testing. Okay. Well, we may have to go without microphones. God is awake in me right now. That's all I know for sure, and that's all I need to know. There's nothing else, only that light moving through and as me. Moving through and as me. That's the key. There's no separation. There's no concept that could ever be real that separates me from my loving source. And I am in love with that idea. How about you guys? Okay. Yeah, I guess so. Come on, let's feel this. Let's get into it. It's Friday. Let's get ready for a great weekend. Of course, we have a couple shows coming up here at Namaste. So that'll be good. All right, we'll figure out the microphone in a moment. All right, well, this morning, I'm really excited because, as you know, we have a new minister in residence, Reverend Jim White, who is from the Las Vegas Unity Church. He's going to be with us all month, and I can already tell he is an exciting brother, and I am just so happy that he is going to be with us. So I'm not going to take up any more time. I'm going to just go ahead and bring up our dear brother Jim. So come on up and take it away. I'm going to see if I can fix the microphone.
Okay. Good morning. So glad to see you all, and I wanted. All right. Are you awake yet?
Need a new one.
So, just a little bit about myself, and you'll get a chance to hear it on Sunday just a little bit more. My name is Jim, and I go by Jim. The Reverend and all of that stuff is totally irrelevant. I stopped that a while ago. Just a little bit, I had a very interesting journey, and this month I'll take you through it a step at a time, but just want you to know, to start off with, I grew up in Catholicism, was an altar boy, the whole deal, wanted to be a priest. And then something happened after I turned about 13, and they really described what celibacy was. I said, you know what, maybe that's not for me. So, but anyway, it was a couple of other things that turned me around. But the main thing that I want to share is that I've been on this interesting journey, spiritual journey, and it's taken me some interesting places. So in 1999, I was at Unity Village, and Marianne Williamson came to speak. And we had a conversation. She says, I'm going to hire you. And I'm thinking, yeah, right. 1,000 people a day and all of that. But sure enough, 6 months later, she brought me to to Detroit, where she was minister at the time. And I got really into the Course, Miracles, like really knee deep because she was a very astute Course in Miracles person. But also that was just a part of my journey. I have always been in an inquisitive mind, and that really got me in trouble in Catholicism because questioning and evolving just wasn't part of the paradigm at that time. I don't know if it's changed, but it was kind of rigid. So today we're going to continue on what I would call my spiritual journey, but I want to include you in it. And the spiritual journey that I'm on is always inquiring just what's next, what's underneath, what is down deeper, how can I go into other places that I haven't gone before. And as I said yesterday, I just turned 75, May 15th, and you would think that I would start winding down, but I'm not. I'm winding up. I want to know what else is there. What I got to admit, I don't know how much time I'm going to have left. Nobody does, right? So the time that I have here, just inquire and see what's to feed my soul. So today I have a reading. This book that I like, and it's called Consolidations by David White. I'm going to ask for some volunteers. I need 6 people to be able to read. And can you pass these out to hopefully 6 people? Hopefully I can get 6 volunteers. Oh, you know what? Give me one of them back. I'm going to need one. So we have 5 people? Perfect. So the first thing that I would want to do is to create an atmosphere. I'd like for us to have this little 30-minute dialogue. Rainier Maria Rilke has a saying that I like. And I just want someone just to read the opening. Who would like to do that? Thank you.
Be patient toward all that is unsolved in your heart, and try to love the questions themselves, like locked rooms and like books that are now written in a foreign tongue. Do not seek the answers, which cannot be given you, because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps you will then gradually, without noticing it, live along some distant day into the answer.
And the reason why I'm setting that up, and I kind of like that, is once we have the answer, all inquiry stops. So I just like to keep inquiring and see what else. I have found that this universe is ever evolving and emerging, and something new is manifesting. We have our core principles that we believe in, Course in Miracles and unity, and we can hold on to them loosely as we allow that to take us into greater areas of discovery. So today's reading is from David White's book entitled Consolations, and the title of this little essay is Silence. Now, everybody knows silence, and so I'd just like for you to take a look and let it feel into you, the silence. So now I want to bring it up for everyone on the internet. There it is. Shared. You did it. The master. The master at work. Okay. And so now we're going to begin the reading and just invite you to open your minds, open your hearts. We'll have a couple of questions at the end. One is, there is no such thing as right and wrong. What's really important is what works for you to speak it. And there's some things that you agree with, fine. If there's some things that you don't agree with, I definitely want to hear those, because that's the juicy part that caused me to go in and deeper. So now, I'd like for someone to read the first paragraph on silence. Thank you.
Want me to stand there?
Oh, she's got it right, and you'll read number 2. You'll read the next paragraph. Thank you.
Silence is frightening. Silence is not stillness, but tidal and seasonal movement left to itself, an intimation of night, the graveyard of fixed identities. Real silence puts any present understanding to shame, orphans us from certainty, leads us beyond the well-known and accepted reality, and comforts us with the unknown and previously unacceptable conversation about to break in upon our lives.
Thank you. And someone read the next paragraph.
Silence does not end skepticism, but makes it irrelevant. Belief or unbelief on any previously rehearsed story meets the wind in the trees, the distant horn in the busy harbor, or the watching eye or listening ear of a puzzled loved one.
And the next paragraph.
In silence, essence speaks to us of essence itself and asks for a kind of unilateral disarmament, our own essential nature slowly emerging as the descended periphery atomizes and falls apart. As the busy edge dissolves, we begin to join the conversation through the portal of a present unknowing, robust vulnerability, revealing in the way we listen, a different ear, a more perceptive eye, an imagination refusing to come too early to a conclusion and belonging to a different person than the one who first entered the quiet. Out of the quiet emerges the sheer incarnational presence of the world, a presence that seems to demand a moving internal symmetry in the one breathing and listening equal to its own breathing. Listening equal to its own breathing, listening elemental powers.
Thank you. And now I'll read the next one here, and it says, to become deeply silent is not to become still, but to become tidal and seasonal. A coming and going that has its own intimability, essential character, a story not fully told, like the background of the sea, or rain falling, or the river going on, out of sight, out of our lives. Reality met on its own terms demands absolute presence and absolute giving away, an ability to live on equal terms with the fleeting and the eternal, the hardly untouchable and fully possible, a full-bodied appearance and disappearance, a rested giving in and giving up, another identity, braver, more generous, and more here than the one looking hungrily for the easy, unearned answers. So I feel into this. Silence is something that I've been doing for quite a while, then what I would call Vipassana meditation. So how many people here meditate? That is 100%. I'm not surprised. So you're familiar with the silence. And I thought that the silence was inactive. It's a dormant place. But when you take another look at it, maybe there's some potency that's in there. And I just wanted to find out from you all. Number one question is, how is silence for you? And however many years you've been meditating, what is it that you discover once you get into silence? And definitely want to hear your responses. And if someone on the internet would like to share, we'll be able to know and they can respond as well. Okay. Anybody like to share your thoughts on the silence? And especially I want to hear from Vicky, because I know she's got something.
Hi, I'm Chris, and I have a Saturday silence. Every Saturday is my silent day, so tomorrow I'll be in silence. And it takes me deep. In the James Twyman singing a lesson, in silence, I listen to the voice of God, or in stillness, I listen to the voice of God, or in quiet, I listen to the voice of God. That's kind of what's going through my mind. And then I just sink down each time I say that into a restful place, a contented place. And that's as far as I've gotten so far.
That's deep. That's very good. Thank you.
Some time ago, I was in a spiritual retreat, and I went to this one pavilion where a lot of ceremonies were done, and all of a sudden, I fell into the deepest, most holy, sacred silence. It was the most amazing feeling I've ever felt in my life. I didn't want to open my mouth to utter one iota of noise to disturb the holy sanctity of that experience, and I wanted to live in that forever.
Absolutely. Anyone else on silence?
Pardon me. I too was at a retreat, a spiritual retreat, and we were encouraged to be in silence for it was 30 days. And I found, my mind was quite chatty, and I was fighting it. And I went into the garden, and there was wonderful trees and smells and nature. And I decided I'm just going to I'm going to be present in the silence with the plants and animals and things. And this bee came running around my head. And, but I was so silent. It was like he landed on me, and I didn't flinch at all. It was just more like we were communing together. And it was a deep, soft space that was very comforting and very, all I can say is divine.
Thank you. Yes.
Silence is God's first language. A water pitcher has a handle and spout, but it's the emptiness inside that makes it useful. And a wheel has a rim and spokes, but it's the emptiness in the center that makes it useful. House has roof and wall, but it's the emptiness at the doors and windows that make it useful. And I've found that in my life, life may appear to be about work and love, but it's the emptiness at the center that makes it useful.
Very good. Thank you. Boy, I love everything that's been shared. And one more before I go to the next. Yes. Okay.
I think
Yes.
of silence as many things, many different kinds of silence. The silence where you disappear when the mind lets go, when you're in nature and you're being blessed by receiving. And so many variations of it that you just know that it's infinite. And so rather than saying it's this or that, it's actually everything.
Yes, very good. I knew you were going to come up with some good stuff.
I believe in silence is a vibrational fullness. It's like a doorway to a deeper connection with the universe. And it's like tuning into the breath of God and the connection to the infinite. It's very
Yes.
alive. It's not empty. Like vibrationally alive and full.
Yes.
And Baraka
Thank you.
had his hand up. Go ahead, Baraka.
Words are symbols of symbols, and that has to do with the spoken word as well as the written word.
Mhm.
Yes.
This is a call, Dave.
All right. Who else?
Call Dave is her name.
Oh, Cold Day. Yeah.
Yeah, so for years I was part of a spiritual community where we would have 10-day winter and summer solstices. And the first 5 days was supposed to be in silence. And we were very good about keeping silence. And what we did was instead of talking, we wrote long, long notes back and forth to one another endlessly. At some point, I realized, no, this isn't silence.
That's true.
And eventually down the road somewhere, it was actually at the Omega Institute, Ram Dass came for a week. And one of those days was to be a silent day. And even though I wasn't taking the workshop, I was on staff, and he invited all of us to be part of the experience. And what I realized was that the true silence is shut up, stop gabbing away, stop chattering nonstop. And I had this beautiful, beautiful experience that day with Ram Dass, where all I did all day long, well, pretty much, is I just mentally chanted Om Namah Shivaya. Just over and over and over again, Om Namah Shivaya. And I went to sleep chanting Om Namah Shivaya. And I slept like a baby. And I woke up the next morning chanting Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shivam Nam.
Wow. Thank you.
And Judy, just one more. And Judy, go ahead.
All right. So
Go ahead
great.
to unmute yourself, darling.
I was on Machu Picchu with Dr. Duke and another group, large group, and we all sat down on the grass, and he said, now meditate. And I had the most vibrant red through my head that it was just wonderful. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Should we go to Vicky and hear what Vicky wants
Yes,
to say?
please.
Vicky, why don't
Morning,
you-
everybody. Welcome, Jim. Nice to have you, and thank you. You know, silence is probably our one universal experience for a spiritual practice, certainly in this Zoom and at the village. But what I found, and this most lately, because I'm living alone now, and I don't like to put music on. I don't make any calls. I respond if someone calls me, but I just can't talk a lot, chit chat. I love the quiet. I don't even know to call it silence, but in the quiet, I feel like I'm being shown or developed or being taken care of. And I don't know of it consciously. I can feel it though. And just like the first person that spoke, I don't want any interruption of it because it's very primal. And the result is that kind of bubbling up first, I would say contentment and gratitude. And it's just so, it's so alive. And I'm so grateful. And I feel like I'm greeting everything. My cat, the plants, the stuffed animals in the house. So I get up and say good morning, everybody. And just sit and be with, a feeling of being with, for no reason, no answer I'm looking for, or question even I have. But it's an ongoing, it's like being in something I want more of. I don't know what it is. I really don't know. That's what I can say. But I can feel it's very active. It's not like quiet. That's why outside noises clashes with it. My own voice or music or any other than birds. I like the birds and the nature sounds. That doesn't seem to clash. And I don't know. I know that the result is a buoyancy of happiness, and that the way I'm being called to it is a way of life all the time. And all I can say is I love it, but I don't know anything. That's all I can say. But I feel like I'm being given much. That's all.
Yes. I would say that's one of the wisest things we can say is, you all remember there was this TV show years ago. It had a German concentration camp, I think it was.
Heroes.
Hogan's Heroes. And Schultze would always say,
Sergeant Schultz.
I know nothing. That is the wisest thing we can say sometimes.
He's my guru.
Oh, yeah. So, oh gosh, you're right. The time is up. What I was getting ready to do now.
No, go ahead.
Well, okay. I don't want to run over time. What I have found is I was introduced to, in 1992, to Vipassana meditation. And I would just say, why would we spend time in this meditation like this and over again? What's the purpose of it? But after I started doing it for a while, it really broadened my awareness of just not saying anything. What now I've evolved to is that I am now meditating all during the course of the day. And sometimes it may be like 5 or 6 seconds in between something. I just take a breath and relax. And when the thoughts come, I was able to release them, and I don't give energy to the words. And what I have found is a new awakening can occur even in the midst of silence. Then the last thing I wanted to say, and I'm going to net this out. In Unity, we say prayer is when we're talking to the universe. And when we meditate, we're being silent. The universe gets a chance to talk to us. I am saying that there's even more to that, is that we become essentially mind, body, and heart. Our whole physical being gets in touch with it when we get into silence. So it's more than mental, it's more than emotional. What I like now is the body sensation. So I just invite us today, as we're going about our day, and we take 5 or 6 seconds during the course of a day, just whatever you're doing, just take a breath and relax, and then just keep right on going. You could actually meditate while you're talking. I've done it 3 times while I've been talking to you. Just in the process, that's a form of connection. So I bid you all a wonderful farewell for today. Take this wonderful, blessed feeling with you, this energy, and let's have a great weekend, because I think something is going to happen tonight that's going to be exciting, and I am all ready for this. Anything else we need to do to close up?
Yeah, why don't we just for a moment, first of all, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We're so honored by your presence. I'm looking at the back of the room and I see that the lesson from A Course in Miracles today is, I am among the ministers of God. I've always loved that lesson. I am among the ministers of God. And as you know, when you start getting ministers together, sometimes there can be a lot of talking, a lot of sharing. Everybody wants to say their due, but we're going to sing our due just for a moment as we leave here today. I think most of you know this, and this will bring us, I think, even deeper into this experience of silence. So follow me. In quiet, I receive God's word today. In quiet, I receive God's word. Join me. In quiet, I receive God's word today. In quiet, I receive God's word. In quiet, I receive God's word today. In quiet, I receive God's word. In quiet, I receive God's word today. In quiet, I receive God's word. Let this day be a day of stillness and of quiet listening. Your Father wills you hear His word today. He calls to you from deep within your mind. In quiet, I receive God's word today. In quiet, I receive God's word. In quiet, I receive God's word today. In quiet, I receive God's word. So now we take this silence with us, the beautiful gift of this sharing. Our dear brother Jim, who has joined with us so deeply, so perfectly. Now we take this gift and we share it with everyone that we see, think of, meet, everyone at once. And so it is.
And so it is.
So it is.
So thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Lovely. Did I accidentally call you Jim White at the beginning?
No. And I'll take that.
I think because I knew the file was white. No.
Yeah.
Jim Lee, I recognize that now.
I answered all of it.
All right, well, this is the end of our Friday session. We're so grateful you could all join us. Jim will be sharing at the Unity service on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, so we hope you can make it there. And in the meantime, just let that silence roll through your day. I like what you said, that we can just even 5-10 seconds of silence, a deep breath in the moment, holding still, letting God shine through.
Beautiful. Thank you.
All right, let's do our closing prayer. I'll bring it up here in a moment. I think you all know it by now, but I'll share it nonetheless. Here it comes. All right. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever God is, I am, and all is well. Do you like how we changed that?
I love that.
A little bit different, but
Yes.
have a beautiful day, everybody. Namaste.
Thank you, Jim.
Beautiful
Thank
day.
you.
Thanks,
I
Jim and
love
Jim.
you all.
Thank you.
You know,
Bye bye
Love
for
you.
now.
Welcome, Jim. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. We're gonna get Steven out here one of these days, aren't we, Stephen?
Namaste.
I'm pretty busy. Good to see you, Jim. Good to see you, Jim.
Nice seeing you.